Welcome to the KINJAZ Podcast. Here we will discuss dance, life, and whatever the we want.
Folks, welcome back to Kinjaz Movement in the Shadows. We are your hosts, Ben
and Anthony.
And today we got a brother, we got squad in the house. We have dancer, choreographer, entrepreneur, founder of Magic Milk and Magic Cookies, co-founder of Kinesthetic. We have our resident Incredible Hulk. We have Jawn Ha of the Kinjaz back
Hulk.
in the pod.
Let's go.
Back in the pod. So John, you were on our very first season.
Dude, holy, yeah.
It was when we're still at the dojo.
Yeah, man.
Rest in peace. Rest in pieces.
Rest in pieces. Dojo.
Did it get demoed?
No,
No.
It just sounded way more dramatic when
Yeah,
I
it
said it
gotta
like
be
that.
dramatic.
Yeah, okay.
Well, John's been on the pod. If you guys are interested in his origin story, go back to that first episode. You'll find his origin story. But this is catch-up mode. John blessed us with these amazing boba drinks.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys can see the sticker here. Is this an actual like Kinjaz flavor? You made this for us?
Yeah, Malia, she heard that, like, oh, it would be great to have, the Kinjaz have some sort of presence in the shop.
Thanks, Malia. We love you.
Oh yeah. She's like, what if I created a flavor for you guys? I was like, yeah, what shit. And she already knew. She's like, there's a popular drink, that's out. It's like tiger milk tea or tiger boba, whatever. She's like, but I can make like a caffeinated coffee version of that. And I was like, well, the brothers, they love coffee.
We do love coffee.
She's
We
like, I
love
can
that
make
Vietnamese, that cafe shit that, man.
she made that already, the crack coffee. But then she's like, oh, I can make the Koreans, they've made a dalgona whip, and I can infuse that coffee into there. So she's like, I can make a dalgona whipped coffee with brown sugar, and because she's thinking about like flavors that all mix well together and blah blah blah.
This is delish.
Here is the tiger coffee. So she made it for the shop, and she's like, that'd be a great flavor for Kinjaz to like, rep or just enjoy and endorse and all that stuff. I was like,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we have like 3,000 of these stickers that are just sitting
Sick.
in our shop for whenever we feel like, hey, it's a good
Well, now
time.
after this promo, it's going to be 2,995.
Hey.
Yeah.
It's all about
But
the
yeah,
numbers.
so she created this flavor with the Kinjaz in mind. But yeah, it's been competing like neck and neck literally since its intro with the crack coffee in the shop.
Well, now that we're already on this magic milk topic, man, I mean, when you were last on, this thing didn't exist.
Neither did Kame.
Neither did Kame. Yes. John's a father.
Yep.
Dude, fill us in, man. So,
Dude.
I mean, it was a while ago where we caught up with you, but man, how have things been? I mean, this is pre-pandemic we're talking, and a lot's happened during that time. So,
Man.
what's been going on, man?
Yeah, well, if you want to jump back like that timeline when we still had Dojo in Monterey Park,
Yeah.
many things have definitely happened. I think we've gone through the ebbs and flow of life, as a unit. And so with myself, the highs were definitely pre-pandemic, focusing heavily on my involvement and just my career in China. That was a great, like, I would say, period in my life where it kind of like hyper focused all of my years of just being in dance, and then allowed me to just, I think, somewhat experience what it would have been like not being a minority here in America. And then just being, having 15 plus years of experience in any field and applying that on a national level and then seeing how that plays out. So that was a really good kind of like incubation period for me to kind of test the waters and see what was possible. So that did kind of affirm with me like, okay, cool. There's opportunity to be had. There's a lot of great things that could come out of that. So that was a really fun wave to kind of ride. And I think all of us can agree that we're no strangers to like the 15 seconds. So that never affected me. What it was, my focus out there was solely on how to expand, our universe, how to get more of our peers and family involved in what we're doing. Because as we all know, we move a lot further together. So I was always super excited when, you know, Kinjaz were getting more flags placed down with Sinostage, you know.
For the listener that may not know what you're talking about, can you explain what you were doing in China? You were on a TV show.
Yeah. That was back in 2017, the tail end of 2017. China had they started their own show, which is kind of like something new. I would say a lot of us are familiar with like China having China's Got Talent, or So You Think You Can Dance China, you know, things that have been franchised out. But this was their first time trying something new completely, called Street Dance of China. And it was the first season. So it was kind of like a dice roll for them.
Well, I mean, they had found success with Rap of China.
Rap of China.
So that was a huge thing. It was same thing. Take dance out, put like rap in. Literally, people were just, you know, and especially just like a really huge boom for like hip hop culture in China at that time. Like Rap of China just kind of like blew up and did its thing. So they, you know, wanted to evolve it, make the cousin version of it. Ended up doing Street Dance of China.
Yep.
Right. And Jawn was on that inaugural season, which was a huge crazy thing because, like, you know, at the end of the day, they always want like a foreigner representation.
Yep.
They'll never give you the title, never let you win, but you know what I mean? But they always want to have like, you know, and Kinjaz's name at that time in China was blowing up at such a huge level.
That was right
as well.
after World of Dance, right?
Yeah.
Right after he was at
Yep.
Wad,
So it's just kind of like one of those like, all right, like, you know, getting a Chinese American, you know, to be on the show, especially somebody from the squad. Like Jawn was just like the fucking perfect person in the rep, and went on there and just like did his thing, you know, and we just fucking smashed. Hella smashed.
Yeah.
Just try to
Hulk
represent.
smashed.
Hulk smashed.
You
He
know?
did. He
Yeah,
did.
I mean, yeah. In a nutshell, that's pretty much how it unraveled.
Yeah.
So yeah, not to go into too much detail, but they had that opportunity readily available, and I said, hey, you know, it's not in my character or my best interest to be another competitor. I don't feel like in my career, like being a competitor or trying to prove my worth is at the top of my priority list.
Yeah.
But if I can help in any way elevate dance, you know, in China, where I was like, okay, yeah, you know, my family, you know, down the line is from China. So it's like a way for me to reconnect. I was like, cool, this is a 2 birds, 1 stone kind of situation for me. That was why I wanted to get involved. And from there, it just kind of, it snowballed. Putting your best foot forward tends to usually create good opportunities from that. So that's what happened since then. But fast forward a couple years later, Kinjaz we're in the thick of it. This is when we were filming for 100 Ways. So I was fortunate that Ant, being Bam, Mike, and Jackson, they asked me to be a part of it, working with Daniel Cloud Campbell. So, oh my God, the GOAT. So yeah, that was I was all giddy inside, excited to jump on that project. That was my last project in China.
Dang,
Yeah, that was like, none of us saw that coming. We got home from that job. Was like a day.
We were leaving, flying out of Beijing on the day that they had shut down Wuhan.
Yeah.
That they like quarantined it and they closed it
That's
down.
right. I remember seeing you guys sent a photo of you guys at the airport all masked up. Because all of us, because we were getting back here in the States, we were getting like news like there was a virus or there's just something going on in China. We didn't even know what it was at the time. There's like something's going on in China. So we were just like, are you guys okay? Cause
and by this time, like showing up back at the airport, suddenly you saw everybody working there in like hazmat suits and stuff, and you're just like, what planet am I on right now? Everything's going crazy. Our phones are blowing up. People were telling us like to be careful about some stuff, and like they're like, they just shut down the city. And you know, this is shit you hear in like fucking World War Z. You know, this is stuff you hear in like the drama of like Hollywood entertainment. But it was just like apparently the real deal that was going on. And you were like, oh snap, we're leaving right now. And yeah, who would have thought that moment would turn into this like next 3 or 4 year journey of what it's become, you know?
Gosh, yeah.
And like, just to take it back to where Jawn was at that time too. I mean, like after post Street Dance to China, like John was suddenly in like high fashion magazines, you know, doing things for like Zegna, doing things for like, we was doing stuff with Audemars Piguet, you know, doing stuff for like major Fortune 500 retailers or fashion brands or like food companies and stuff like that. We got to get into the KFC thing. That's a funny ass story. Talk about
that
we gotta
commercial was the best.
Yeah. I mean, there was just a whole different level, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
of like where John was at and just kind of the notoriety and, you know, just to tap into a little bit of what he had talked about earlier, you know, like on the one hand, being over here in the States, feeling like a minority trying to represent something. On the other hand, over there, being on the front cover of like high fashion magazines and doing stuff. And you're like, this is a totally different, you know, ocean that we're swimming in now.
Yeah.
It's not a small pond out there, right? It's a whole other ocean, you know what I mean? And you know
how I knew you were popping in China, bro? Because we went to Shanghai Disney. And remember Shanghai Disney?
Dude, yeah.
So we were walking through Shanghai Disney, and you know there are the characters, right? The people who play these characters, and you're not supposed to break character.
No, yeah.
But people were straight breaking character. They're like, "Oh my God, that's Jawn Ha," and characters are taking photos with you. I have videos of this on my phone.
No way,
I was
dude.
dying. I'm like, "Yo, dude, you're making Disney characters break out
and
of their
they're throwing up Kinjaz bangs with 4 fingers. You know what I'm talking about? So that means they only got like the thumb and the pinky, and then they got the 2.
And that's how I was like, dude, my guy Jawn Ha is popping right now, dude. And that that was such a fun thing to witness as like a friend and as a brother. And it was like such a proud moment. But it was also just this phenomenon. I'm like, dude, you're something else out here right now, man. That was so fun.
Oh, that's such a wild memory, dude. Yeah, I mean, oddly enough, I've always preached this, and you know, to my family, I guess it's the way my family raised me was just like it was exciting to kind of like live through it, but even in the midst of it, I never felt like I was like, yeah, this is what I wanted, you know. I don't take a lot of joy out of being like center of attention. I always tell people, I like being useful. I like knowing I have worth, and being like a good cog to society. And as long as I could play that role, then I'm here for it. You know, I always put my good energy into it. You know, and for that moment, you know, being I guess, yeah, the one to break Disney characters. It was wild to me, but at the same time, I was just like, you know, I think I can, you know, live without it. Which is a weird thing to like.
Well, so, I mean, you said it yourself. You said 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. The 15 seconds of fame.
That was definitely more like 15 minutes. Yeah.
It was a good minute. It was a good minute. And, you know, we're talking about like coming back to the States when COVID had broken out. And then there was a whole few years of a shutdown, and we're still recalibrating. Yeah. You know, and in that recalibration process, you had a child.
Yeah.
So you're now a father. You know, you kind of opened up a business venture that, as we were talking before we started rolling, you were kind of saying it was kind of a joke between you and your brother.
Yeah.
And so, walk us through that COVID journey of recalibrating from being in that spotlight to coming back home in the state of a global pandemic, and then sort of like reconfiguring what life is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Whew. Well, there was this that middle period from coming back home and everybody trying to, you know, our hardest to make sure that we don't drop the ball. And I know we were fighting the tide of just the world's pandemic. Nobody in our generation knows how to live through a pandemic, really, at least in our in here in the West.
Sure.
You know. So it was battling the social aspect of it all. It was battling just the career path of like opportunities that we've been investing all of our years into, like creating an avenue for us to be able to work. And all of a sudden, because of the pandemic, that our literal line of work, which is live events, teaching live classes, that all has to like flip a switch. So that was a crazy period for all of us. And in the midst of it, this is the most time I've ever spent home. I think it's all of us. Never have any of us spent so much time at home. So that gave me a very rare opportunity to spend a lot of time with Malia. So with that in mind, it was like I keep saying, it's like we have been in an incubation tube for the past 3 years. Like I've never known anything about like my partner as much as I've known, got to know things about you, and vice versa. I've never been able to share as much of like who I am, how I am, why I do what I do, why I've done what I've done, all the things. And nobody has known me to that degree more than Malia. So I think the fact that we have only grown stronger and better together in the past, say from 2020 to 2022, in 2 years, that's like 430, 430, I don't know, 2 years. 2 full years.
365 times 2 is just over 700, but yes, keep going.
It's okay, bro. I don't do math either, bro. I'm not
730.
I'm not Asian in that way either.
Yeah. Well, I went backwards. I went 200.
I rely on Anthony for all the math stuff, dude. 'Cause I'm right there with you, bro.
Oh man, well that's embarrassing. That's why I dance.
Exactly. That's why you're not a mathematician.
Yeah.
And to be fair, 2020 to 2022 is technically 3 years. If you count 2020, 2021,
the full year of 2020.
Yeah, but it's okay.
That's why I felt like it was 3 years.
Our math guy.
So yeah, 400 days later.
400 days later. Yeah, we got blessed with the happy accident that is my son.
Happy accident. Okay.
The one thing, serendipity. Yeah, to the max. I think it was a rarity for us to come across that scenario, because he has always been desired but not planned, and I think that was best put by one of her doctors when they were asking her. It's like, oh, hey, was your baby planned or desired? And she's like, oh, that's a good way of putting it, because when we explained it to people, it was like, oh, yeah, we want a kid, but we didn't plan for it yet,
So you guys had been talking about it, and
yeah,
okay,
that was actually one of the prerequisites when we first started dating.
I remember when y'all first started, and this was when you were popping in China.
Oh yeah,
I remember a specific breakfast that I had with you, at Taikoo Li. At the bakery that you were like, yo, we gotta go to this bakery. This bakery's dope.
Yeah, no, you all had the same reaction.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, dude. I didn't think it was real at the time. I was like, all right, yeah, John, John's dating somebody. That's cool. But then this was the one. This was the one. The long haul.
It just all the domino pieces fell in synchronicity. So synchronicity. But yes, when you guys caught wind that I was starting to talk to Malia back in China, that was a fun little period of time, because she was in a whole different lane. But like I said, when you spend so much time with another person, you really get to the core of like what they want to do and how they want to present themselves.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. Yeah,
thank you, guys. Yeah. I mean, I love her, and she's definitely made me a better person. Even though I tell her all the time, I was like, I don't feel like there's a lot of like self-improvement that I needed when we first met, honestly. But in fields where she's like kind of an expert in, definitely. Like, I don't know anything about fitness or nutrition. I just lift heavy things improperly, So she taught me a lot.
You lift heavy things, yeah.
And that kind of it trickles over into like life habits, understanding the importance of like foundation. Like as something as simple as that. Like we know that in dance, but like when I applied it to my body, I was like, oh, how come I didn't really pay attention to nutrition as much as I did? I feel way better in my 30s than I did in my 20s. I was like, why is that?
Let's go. Yeah.
So things like that. So definitely she's opened so many doors where I'm just like, okay, you're the queen. She makes the menu. She creates the new fad. She follows trends in food industry. I'm like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, I think I'm a good soldier. I've always been. But if you give me a good leader, like I can kick doors down for you. Right? And she's that for me. She's like the one that points in the direction. I'm like, all right, let's do it. you know. So I'm good muscle, I tell her. I always want to be useful in that way. So that dynamic is I think our strength. So anyway, sorry to jump off the rails, but
So you're talking about how you didn't wrap your tool, and
yeah. So that, I mean, I know the exact day and time it happened. It was like, I think whenever it was near Halloween, but it was when we did that photo shoot where she was like a kinky looking Chung Lee, and I was like Ryu, like a normal ass Ryu, you know. And then
only you can say that, bro.
We did
only you can say that. I can't
she was
say
kinky. I was normal.
Oh, I had like nothing. She got the whole like it's like a lingerie set, but like blue, you know.
Okay.
I was like, yo, strut your stuff. I was like, strut your stuff, girl. You know, she did the buns, you know, like Chung Li does. You know? So like certain aspects were like, all right, cool. And as if you do a little fighting pose, people were like, that's Chung Li. I get it. But then me, I was like, I bet she bought this $5 Amazon Ryu set from like, and it had like this white dude on the front, you know, with this red headband. I was like, Ryu, isn't Ken white? But anyways, yeah. So we we got that outfit. We did the photo shoot, and I was looking at the photos. I was like, hey, yo, wear this tonight. And she did. So that night was when the little baby Kami was incepted, I believe. Yeah. And
that
then,
was a detail that I wasn't ready for. But I'm so thankful that all of our listeners and our
I mean, what's great now Kame's gonna know how he was born, bro.
Yeah, everything is anime and our pop culture, and
he's gonna go up just like that. Hey, wear this tonight. Holy
hey, man, know what you want, boy.
That's how you were conceived, my bro.
I mean, people just gotta do a little simple math, and feel like this is around the time.
400 days.
Exactly.
Well, so okay, you said not planned but desired.
Yeah.
With I'm sure there was a surprise of sorts. We're like, oh shoot, we're about to have a kid, right? And then I could only imagine. I don't have children yet, hopefully, but the mindset change of like, we are in a pandemic.
Yeah.
I just came off of a lifestyle for the past year plus when you were in China, where you were kind of in the sort of spotlight, and there was a lockdown happening. We have a child on the way. I'm sure there's so many things that you're like computing in your head of like, what do I do now? How do I live my life?
Yeah.
How do I restructure? How do we carve out this path that's going to welcome this child into the world in a way where, you know, we are going to provide a life for this, you know, this human that we're bringing into the world. So I'm sure there's a lot going on during that time. Can you walk us through that transitional time?
Yeah, definitely. I'm a chronic overthinker. I overthink to like from first person to third person to, you know, how my choices affect those around me, so on and so forth, things like that. And definitely putting your heart and soul into something for the majority of your life. I've never done anything as much, like I've never put as much time into anything as much as I've done in dance. Right? Like I think we speak for all of us. That's where we put our heart and soul into, you know, things. So, this was the biggest life-changing decision I've ever had to come across, I think, for both Malia and myself. So when we asked each other that question, when she took the test, like, what do you want to do? Man, I did not sleep.
Dude.
I remember when she came out, it was like at 3 a.m. She came out of the restroom, and then I'm on edge because I know that she was
still wearing her Chung Li outfit.
Still in it, you know.
Stop it, dude. Stop it.
So, she came out, and oh man, she had the energy, and then you know, when she broke the news to me, I remember feeling kind of sad that I wasn't emitting the expression that I have kind of planned since I was like 15. Because since I was 15, I knew I was like, I want to be a family man. I want to have kids eventually. Yeah. I'm excited about that happening and unfolding in my life in the future. And when I found out, because of, you know, so much time, so much effort, wasn't planned, you know, I had to consider just flipping a switch, figuring something else out, you know, because I always told myself when I become a parent, I need to be present. You know, I don't want to, you know, I think I don't want to miss anything.
Sure.
You know, being able to be with our brother Bam, you know, and seeing how he had to juggle travels and family time, and you know how that ate at him sometimes when he was we were working together overseas. I was like, dang, I can imagine it now. You know, considering it more personally versus you know, I feel bad, you know, for Bam when he goes through those motions. Now it's like, I don't want to go through those motions. I want to be present. I don't want to miss these things. I don't even risk it. So like, oh man, my brain was just going hyper overdrive. Like, what do you want to do? How do you do it? You know, restructure your life. Are you okay with it? And I think the biggest question that I had to ask myself was, am I capable of adaptation? I think that because no parent is ever, well, not no parent, but we always hear you're never really ready, even if you're ready. That's such a commonality that you always hear when it comes to considering children, because you know you can try and try and try, and then when the time finally hits, there could be other things in your life that are already going because you're like, oh, you know, who knows when it'll happen. So at that moment, you have to switch gears. So for us, that was even if I wasn't ready in terms of my career, I didn't set the pillars down, you know, like even like considering home living situation, I don't have a room ready for a child, none of that stuff. I asked myself, I was like, am I capable of adaptation? Like meaning, you put me in a scenario, can I switch things around and be okay with it? And I convinced myself that, yeah, I feel like if you put me in any scenario, even if I was out, I wasn't even dancing anymore. If you wanted me to play a new sport, I feel like I'm capable. I'm physically capable. I'm healthy enough. I'm able to change and learn new things. I don't feel like I'm a stubborn OG that can't change, you know, and learn and adapt. So I told myself, like, if you say it, you preach it, you know, put it in practice now. And it was that moment I told her, I was like, we may never get this chance again. She already knew, you know, like she was in fitness and nutrition and always changing different nutrition plans. So that kind of like, it messed with her period cycles, you know, every now and then. So she's like, I honestly didn't think I can get pregnant, you know, that easily. So she's like, do we take the chance or do we, you know, like buckle down and be like, let's figure it out. So the next day came, we had that discussion and it came down to like, let's do it. Let's become parents. Let's change our lives, you know? And that's when this discussion came up with, I'm not dancing and traveling in this interim. What am I doing at home? You know, my family, we've done this thing called the honeycomb, where we've all pitched in. Like since me and my brother were young, we pitched into the family's account, and that's how we built habits of not spending like ridiculous amounts, you know, without the family being affected. And then I just built really good habits, building our credit, building our family savings, yeah, so on and so forth. So even after doing so much work in China, it was still put into the pool for the family. So now this huge life-changing event is about to unfold. That conversation opens up to, should I start a business? You know, and then my dad has always taught us, if we're going to start a business, you want to be in like one of the four main components that humans need to survive, which is either food and beverage. They need to live. They need a housing over their heads, so anything in real estate. They need clothes on their back, so apparel. And people need transportation, like Uber, Turo, or something of that nature. So as long as you place your bets in something in those industries, you're more likely to succeed. So my brother does Turo. He kind of understood, like, oh, it's very active. You know, if you want to do, you know, anything in the cars and transportation, or you can be an Uber driver, you know, like you just want to make money, you know, that always is a clear path. We've done apparel since forever.
Yeah.
In terms of entrepreneurship. And we know it rides on the highs and lows depending on live events and such. So that was like, I'm not going to throw more into that basket right now. And then we've done real estate very, very minimally. When we purchased our parents, their house, it had a back house. We rent that back house out. We understand that, like, a very small degree of what that's like.
Yeah.
And then the one thing I was like, well, Pops, he's always been in the restaurant industry when he, you know, came over from Vietnam. He's been involved with pizza, a pizza delivery business, or he owned his own pizza parlor. And then he moved to Chinese cuisine and then vegetarian cuisine and stuff. So he's always been in the restaurant industry. But my brother and I never touched it outside of helping out the family or being an employee. So when I was talking to Chris, I was like, yo, let's do something in food and beverage. We know a few people that are into it. One was Andy Nguyen. He was always following my work, and I was also following his work. And we've been, I guess, in the same circles since Kinjaz also helped out Afters when they opened up in my hometown, Alhambra. So I was like, I could reach out to Andy and see, if he has any, knowledge to bestow on this situation. And those conversations really just opened up to me and my brother throwing darts at the wall, being like, what are good ideas? Vegetarian, this, yada, yada, yada. And when it came down to it, Chris was like, I'm heavily lactose intolerant. He's like, I have to drive all the way to OC, to get this place called Soy Good, which is closed now due to the pandemic. But he's like, yeah, they're the only place that had a whole menu where I didn't have to worry about anything. I could just order like what looked good and it would be okay for me. I was like, yo, boba, but like straight up dairy free. That was something that was like, we can both agree on. He's like, that would be great in our area, And so we're like, yeah, what would be a good name? Man, I took a photo of our whiteboard. It was just like a bunch of names because me and him are always really like, we want to be clever with the names. And that's where this conversation of like, I was like, oh man, who likes boba? Like girls love boba. And then so he's like, yeah. Well, how do we like, get more people to come to us and let them know that, who we are who we are. So I was like, dude, like, what if we just had shirtless baristas, just the apron on, the magic milk apron. And then my brother was like, yeah, like magic milk. And he was coming off of the joke of Magic Mike, which I'm sure everybody is very familiar with. So from that, he was laughing and I went into like, this
wait. Let's not skim over shirtless baristas so quickly. I need more details of how far this went.
Was there a photo shoot?
We wanted. Well, definitely it was in my wheelhouse because I have a lot of very attractive male fitness influencer friends.
Oh, so it's all male shirtless baristas. We can skim over this detail. Move on.
We gotta call them bro-ristas just to make make it clear. A bunch of shirtless dudes.
Oh my.
Yep. Well, I mean, that's the nature of Magic Mike, right?
Yeah,
so,
kind of.
Obviously, all of our favorite shows.
Watched every one of them.
Yes, we know him very well.
So yeah, that was the origin of the idea. Like my brother's joke kind of echo chambered itself in my brain, and it turned from a joke to, yo, I can sell this. Even if we never even touched that idea, not yet. But the idea of, all right, well, in terms of like a play on words, magic milk can be like, what's the magic behind the milk? It's not really milk. It's like, okay, cool. I can.
And it doesn't give you the bubble guts.
Doesn't give you the bubble guts. Then, it's really just, I think, extremely relatable when it comes down to the path that Beyond took or Impossible took when they introduced the Impossible Burger, right? Or Beyond Burger. Ours would be boba. It would just be magic milk. And then I was like, okay, if we sell that, then the magic brand is the actual father or the mother, to the whole thing. And when people get familiar with magic milk, we can build off of that and say magic anything is dairy free. That was my, like, I was like, that's something I can go for because I don't want to just be stuck in it, like one path of magic milk and just do boba all my whole life. It's like, if we're going to do something to this degree and we're going to like say, yeah, this is dairy free, and why don't we just do everything dairy free? So hopefully we build that brand trust with people, introducing great products and service and what have you through magic milk. Next time they see magic cookies or they see magic ice cream or they see magic whatever, they'll be like, oh, that's that dairy free brand, coincidentally plant-based as well, but their message is always lactose intolerant friendly, coincidentally vegan friendly as well. We're not vegan, so we never want to preach that. It's just by coincidence that our ingredients are all plant-based. So when people always ask us, I was like, well, 80 to 90% of Asians are lactose intolerant, but we don't get taught that here in the West. We grew up with the little triangle food chart in their cafeterias that showed you.
Yeah, the food
like,
pyramid.
Oh yeah,
Which
yeah.
has finally just been debunked, by the way.
Oh,
They finally
yeah.
just admitted that this isn't the most healthy stuff for
For
you.
sure.
Like
Yeah.
fucking Frosted Flakes. Like, how the fuck was Frosted
are
Flakes supposed to be
delicious.
like healthy for us?
Right.
Hey, but lobbying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, there it is.
Whole different conversation.
Follow the money.
It's all about the
Yeah.
money.
So, growing up here in the West, we weren't taught that. We weren't educated.
Yeah.
But the facts still remain. So it came down to like, cool. We have a great message. We have a great purpose. And I think above all else, I'd love to educate people. I mean, I'm an educator at heart.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can provide a service, but at the same time let people know, hey, so and so is better for you versus its predecessor. I could really, really push that.
Yeah. Before even getting into the business of Magic Milk and how dope that is, I want to take it back a little bit to like the way that you think was something that was passed down to you from your parents.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to give it up to mom and pops, man.
Yeah.
Like we as Kinjaz, bro, we know good and well, like just the value and just how much we love them because of like, I don't know, like that's family to us. You know what I'm saying? Like mom and pops are family to us. And then, the way that you were talking about like just your guys like joint family account, and from a young age, you're just used to just like, yeah, let's put into just the family honeypot or honeypot is what you called it.
Yeah.
Honeycomb. Honeypot is a different
Honeycomb. Honeycomb. But that practice of like, this is what we do, family first. And the fact that like your parents treat us like family, and the way that you function of like, okay, we're gonna do this as a family. I'm gonna put all my focus into this next thing that my dad taught me, right? Like during what are the basic necessities of humans, right? Like people need to eat, and people need to wear clothes, people need to have transportation, like all that stuff. Like it's a testament to me of just how much, first of all, how awesome your parents are, but also how much you as a person, as a man, have like really value family. And so when you decided like, cool, I'm about to have my own family now, I'm about to start my own family, and then shifting your focuses, because I mean, as much as you say like, yeah, I'm not really the guy in the spotlight. It's hard to shift from that to just like, you know what, I'm gonna just be a family guy now. I'm gonna actually like not really focus on doing all the stuff that I was doing on my own as kind of the Jawn Ha brand, but you know what, I'm gonna start something for my family. And I feel like you got that from your parents, from like, and so can you talk a little bit about that, because it is a sacrifice to do that. Whether that was something that you're like, oh, I was never really about the limelight anyway, but like money's good.
No, yeah.
Money's good. It's convenient. Like you get to kind of do what's fun for you, and you know what I'm saying? Like you're kind of just doing your thing.
Yeah.
But then to just be like, okay, you know what? That's time. It's time to shelve that, or like, and I gotta sacrifice now. Can you talk about that ability to shift your mind to be like, it's not about me. It's not about my personal thing anymore. It's like, I gotta now create this family.
Well, with that, I think I'll just go back to my mindset was just, am I capable of adaptation? That in no way meant I have to leave it forever. I just have to stay readily available. So like I said, thanks to Malia being that partner for me. She always kept fitness and health in the forefront of whatever we do. That keeps me extremely like capable. I always say it's like, I'm capable of picking up something new, or even going back to what I'm really good at. So when it comes down to it, it's all about timing now. So as long as we can make sure whatever we've put our investment into, our time and love into for the business, as long as it bears fruit, then if it can hold its own, I can go back to, back to dance essentially, and continue pick up from where I left off. Of course, I got to put a lot more love to kind of jumpstart it, but it's not like I fell out of shape or had to get back, dust off any cobwebs, because everything really it showed that when we got down for the Bear Bricks, release at the Designer Con, I haven't danced in months, like almost half a year or more. And like I listen to music all the time at the gym. I do my own thing. I still keep my body tight and tense for my style. But then really going off at that event, I was like, cool, I'm not stressed. If I wanted to like get down with the brothers, I'll have to like get back into the groove of it in terms of stamina, endurance, yada yada. I was like, oh, I'm actually much better than I was before. So with all those things considered, I was like, that's why I'm okay with really diving deep, investing time into family and business and these foundations that need, a lot of love and attention, because as soon as those are good, I'm going back, to something that I'm good at, that has the ability for me to build momentum off of again. It's not like those doors closed, indefinitely. As long as I feel like, all right, I have something to offer and something to give, there's no way that it can't work out.
Yeah.
So that's why I think my mental sacrifice was only like for now.
Got it. So you kind of already had this plan, like going into the Magic Milk project. You were like, I'm gonna start something, get it moving, and then get back to the stuff that like feeds your passion and feeds. Yeah. And
in no way do I abandon ship on either. Like I feel like that's just something that will need my love and attention when it's necessary. But as long as we have the right people coming in and helping grow that business, then I can still play a very pivotal, like I say, an important piece to the puzzle of whatever it is that it needs me. And that'll be that. But and more so it grows, with the community. So with that, we've been focusing on really, really putting a lot of attention to our team, the people involved, the staff, and people that have interest in the future of Magic Milk or magic in general. And we've left the doors open to like very much how I learned with the Kinjaz is like, hey, my aunt said it like so beautifully before, was you can do anything in the world of the Kinjaz. You just have to put your best foot forward. It's not like I'm here to guide people to what they want. It's like, you got to show me that you're interested and then you're putting, all of your time and effort into it, and our doors are open, so at that, yeah.
I noticed that with you, I mean, I've really only gotten to know you through our time in Kinjaz.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, I've known you as GRV Jawn Ha, and then, Most Wanted, but, our time, and we spent a lot of time in the trenches in a lot of ways, right? From the TV shows to the beginnings of kinesthetic, you know what I mean? And even before that, you were already in clothing. You had Concert Hooligans, you had BST, and like, I feel like the thing that I had learned about you and still seeing to this day is when you decide to jump into something, you go all in, and you do the homework, you do the dirty work, you do the, like, there's no like, let me find the shortcuts and hacks to this thing. It's no, let me learn like 101 of this thing, and then let me naturally graduate into the next level. Yeah. And so even going to like you being, out doing street dance of China, sort of like kind of bearing that Kinjaz flag out there too. Like, I think the entire squad, man, we were like, yes, John's the guy to do this, because we know he's going to see this thing through and represent all the way through. And then now stepping into this space of food and beverage, because that's very different from clothing, very different from dance. You know what I'm saying? And you were like, I see you, bro. You're in there learning how to cook the boba, like learning how to be a chemist in these ways. I'm like, dude, John does not play around. Like, you're not trying to just be like, Like, I don't do that. You do this. Like, let me just be the branding guy of it. And I think that's something that I respect about you. And I think also just going back to the family aspect, I think your parents instilled that within you, right?
100%.
Like don't shortcut.
Yeah.
Like learn the basics to know how to do this. Like even if it had to be you doing it by yourself, then you would know how to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely. Yeah, Papa's always made sure he's like, clean the toilets, mop the floors, restock the inventory, do everything. So when the day comes and you pay somebody for it, you know what you're paying for.
For sure. You gotta know how to be a really, really good employee if you want to be a good employer, you know what I'm saying? To be able to teach people and to expect things from them as well, And yeah, you've always had like a hustler's mentality. You've always, not been shy of doing the heavy lifting, figuratively and literally. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's always been like what made it relatable and fun for us to like continue different ventures together and like put in the work, because there's no greater feeling than being able to look to the person to your left and right and being like, I know we're all going to put in the work. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's always just like what really the power in number comes down to, being able to get like-minded and like work ethics type of people, put them in the same space. And it's like, you can probably just do anything as long as like there is a vision, as long as there's a goal and everybody's got that passion, but you definitely, and Pops still to this day, you know what I mean? He's probably still in the warehouse right now in the storage facility, sending out packages and whatnot, making sure shit's on track.
If people don't know, if y'all order a kinesthetic and you get that joke, who's behind that, like making sure that the customer service and all that gets handled. It's the Ha dynasty, man.
Yeah, Mom and Pops, they're there every day. They love it. They've always loved seeing the family thrive, and you guys are family. They've always wanted to make sure that you guys were not wanting, where they can provide. So with that, even to this day, Pops, he was asking me, and I was so like, yo, if I can, I will. He was like, hey, we have Vibes finally coming back, which is one of the events that Kinjaz is always, very, very present with. He's like, you think you'll be able to come out and help me with the event? He's like, I'm getting old. I was like, I know, Pops. I know you're getting old, man. He's like, honestly, if I can step away from the shop, I'll come out. So I was able to go out to Vibe Juniors that one time, help set up and sell and stuff. I was like, wow, this throws me back.
Yeah, it was a thought. And we repped out there, Vibe and Vibe. We did. It was dope to just be back in the community and be like, oh shit, like this is what we do. This is what we've been doing for like better half of a decade, Yeah. But hey, cheers to Pops real quick.
Hey,
cheers to Pops.
Cheers to Pops.
The Ha dynasty.
Oh, look at that.
Yes. And Mom and Pops.
And Mom, yes.
She was there as well. Yes.
Absolutely.
I do still want to talk a little bit about the glory days, man, in China.
The glory days.
Glory days.
I know. I kind of just jumped over it.
No.
Yeah, you can't gloss over that stuff, bro.
Because that was a unique time, and again, unfortunately, just last week or so was the announcement that Sinostage, it has to like close the stores and stuff. Just no matter how much they tried, no matter how much their efforts were put in. Like the pandemic really made it so complicated. We already saw it. The ripple effects continue going. I mean, we were straight up at the peak of the game right when we opened up the complex over here too, and the pandemic hit, and it's like we started, we tried to cut off a finger to save the hand. We closed the dojo, see if we could save the complex. Things started going crazy. We needed to cut off the arm in order to save the body, lose that complex, you know what I mean? And same thing, Sinostage was doing the same stuff over there, but again, outside of like constantly jumping on these pods and talking about how the pandemic fucked us, there was some glory to some memories that were going crazy. Like, at the same time that Jawn was out there, jumping on those TV shows and taking the flag of Kinjaz and bringing it to heights never seen before, was the exact same time frame that the momentum was being carried in other directions too. You know what I mean? Our efforts out there, we were opening up new studios. I can confidently say at that time I worked with every fucking major artist in the game out in China at that time, and choreographer for all of them. Literally all of them. It was crazy time. We started arenas around the world. So just like the combination of like your efforts, the combination of all of the squad's efforts and stuff and what we were doing in partnership with Sinostage, China was like this. It was like the wild, wild west, and it was like the Oregon Trail. We just kept going and finding gold in different places. You know what I mean? You didn't know it could be found. We were doing things that we didn't know were possible, but we were doing it. Yeah. All the way to the weird stuff too, right? Then, man, we gotta talk about this KFC commercial. This shit is one of the funniest things.
You just wanted to segue all the way to this KFC.
So with all that said, let's talk about this KFC.
This was the fucking fun. I'm sitting in this Coachella rehearsal just the other day, right? Or we were at this shoot, and everybody's just, we're just chopping it up with dancers, dance industry conversation. It's like, all right, what's your most favorite job? What's the fucking weirdest or worst job you ever worked on?
Okay, I thought you were gonna say favorite. I was like, hey, no,
it was not my favorite for sure. And then once it got to that, I could not get this image out of my mind. And shout out to KFC. We fucking still love KFC. Don't get us wrong. But, man, we got to talk about this. And before I blabber off of my loud-ass mouth, John, you tell us what you remember from this situation, because that's going to make it more funny for me.
All right. I really want to hear your perspective. But, this is another one of those great moments, because when I am out in China, it's more so for like months on end sometimes. So I was out there for about 3 years, in and out.
Damn, that's right.
I didn't take any other, maybe like 2 other jobs teaching outside of China, in that time span. And this was one of those moments where squad gets to work together, on a commercial job. I'm like, yes, I'm not like a lone wolfer. I don't enjoy being alone. I'll say that. I never go to movies by myself, and so on and so forth. So when I get to work with the brothers, oh man, that was such a treat. So that's what I remember, is like hearing that Anthony and Tony were coming in, and we were gonna be able to just dance and move. I don't care what we do. I should have probably cared what we did. I have the boomerangs and the gyps.
Oh yeah, no.
This is one of the jobs where they put some money in the costuming for sure. We had 2 different looks. One was I think it was to promote a crawfish burger. Crawfish burger at KFC, guys. Picture that. If you don't know, crawfish are bright red. Very, very
baby lobsters.
Baby lobsters. They're very heavily armored. Yeah. And so you can already imagine what our outfit was, and you have to dance in it. We got to create together, and this is prior to knowing what the heck we were gonna wear. Really, we created some moves that would look good on screen, and then come the day of filming, and we get suited and booted. We're basically crawfish in human form. Like head to toe, you can't see outside of outside of a little slit in the helmet, and the armor. Honestly, it did really well in terms of like isolated movements, and that type of dance.
John's being all cute and optimistic and positive and shit right now. Let me give you my understanding.
Go for it.
All right, and you gotta please just understand my position at this time too. These guys are also looking at me to kind of almost be like, to make sure that the brand is protected. You know what I mean? That we have a certain kind of respect on our name and an integrity, a dignity, if you will.
Dignity.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that this was like absolute trash of a look. But it was, it was just in question. It was questionable. And, that I remember specifically, we're getting fitted, and John and Tony are looking at me like with the eyes that are like, should we say something? You know what I mean? Like we're already dancing, choreographed to this like royalty free type of music, so, and it's like a crawfish rap. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So we're already teetering this line of like, okay, like obviously we're here to get that bag, but at what cost? You feel me? Like Kinjaz had just started like getting this glow up too, like we was again working with the most respected artists out there on these huge TV shows, like pushing the culture a certain way. And you don't want to like be like this and again, not just dancers, just like he was saying, not just competing out there, but like we were representing something, you know what I mean? Also representing Asians that could get it done in America too. There was an esteem that like it's not so important from like an ego and a pride perspective to uphold, but like again, you just didn't think you were going to be in like Baby Lobster outfits. I think that's more the idea, right? Yeah. Now here's the thing though, I wasn't fully aware of like the actual creative. You know, it was just like, hey, there's a KFC commercial. They want to promote a new thing. I was like, okay, cool. Like bet. Like let's go do this thing. You know, we could rap. I'm sure we know how to protect ourselves and our dignity.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about showing up and putting on this fucking lobster armor and dancing to his royalty-free rap songs. It was about the creative. It was like the idea that crawfish, right? The real meat is on the inside. You gotta shed the shell. You gotta strip the shell. So we're fucking suited and booted, and then they want us to straight strip. And there's like moments where we have to like strip the shell off of us, and they want us to be like shirtless for this shit too. Ain't nobody prepped for this shit. And they're telling us on set, you know how China is too. They don't even got like union workouts. It's like a 12-hour day. You know, you're at the end of your limits. Nobody's communicating anything clearly. And then now the fucking director's telling you to strip crawfish shells off of you while you're doing the dance, and just no one was ready for this is all. And I'm just here looking at fucking John and Tony. All these guys are looking at me like,
we say no, right?
We said no, right? Are we doing this? You know what I mean? And I'm like put in this position. And I'm not trying to be, you know, like this pompous celebrity artist that's like, nah, we ain't gonna do that. Like, you're also trying to get the job done. You also want to do a good job, right? When you get hired for anything, you want to put your best foot forward. You want everybody's taste in their mouth of like the Kinjaz representation to be like, these are amazing people to work with, very talented, very professional. But at the same time, like, you're asking us to strip lobster shells off of us and be shirtless for like a KFC sandwich. Like, it was just, and we're just caught off guard. It's like the fucking 12th hour of the day, and you're like, what the fuck are we doing, bro? Yeah. Well, obviously John's buff and shit, and he's a good sport, so he's down, you know what I mean?
And you know, there was 3 looks.
Yeah, the spacesuit look.
And
right?
then
the orange one suit, like the jumper that looked like we were in prison, but really we're supposed to be construction workers, and they had like fucking the sparks flying and stuff from welders. So it was just this like, whoever the creative director is, I gotta say, either you're a genius or you're fucking ridiculous. That's all I gotta say.
Ambitions are high.
You know what I mean? It was just this whole thing that like, and the entire time we was teetering on this seesaw of like integrity and dignity and just trying to be a professional and not trying to look like fools. You know what I mean? But that it was in hindsight, it's fucking funny, like to crack up on it. But at the time, goodness gracious, were we like questioning everything about life? Because you got your good gigs, right? You got your like yo, we're performing with Luhan for like Audemars Piguet. You know what I mean? We get a rep out. We're coming out here choreographing and dancing our own stuff and like rocking nice watches or doing, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and you're proud to throw up the bang.
Yeah, you know, it's like, yo, like let's do this.
How was that KFC bag though?
It was all right.
It was all right. Damn. I was hoping at least the bag was nice.
No, it was all right. You know, again, at that time, there's just a slew of constant opportunities. I mean, I think we were very blessed. All of us were super fortunate. John did an amazing job, you know, repping so well in so many different avenues, and was constantly even bringing in different like opportunities for the rest of the squad. I knew the things that like I was doing, or like, you know, even work with Ving, or like the things that John She was working on with the collabs out there and the artists.
You guys incepted, you know, and you guys really, really placed the flag, and you guys got to know Jackson. That was like, I think, your first step into
that was a crazy
relationship.
The crazy thing is, like, I was at that same time, we were just starting, because it was a competitive TV show too, a Hot Blood Dance Crew that was trying to air at the same time.
Right.
So I got booked to be like a lead choreographer on that one. So I brought on like Ving and Pat and Mike, and even Karen was assisting us at different times, and just like having a different Kinjaz cycle in and out. But I was also meant to choreograph for Jackson Yee, so I had to throw that routine on them. But I couldn't even go out to that because I was working on the other show. So things had to be kind of hush. Yeah. And you know, so there was just all this stuff going on. We were so fortunate to get so much work that sometimes it would just, the next job would come in, you wouldn't necessarily like know every detail. You just be like, okay, cool, like we got to do this campaign. Oh yeah, there's this KFC thing, I don't really know much about it. Cool, we'll do that, as long as it works with the scheduling. So you're not like fully paying attention to everything. You're trusting the process, you understand that every wave, you know what I mean, like things come and go, you got to ride it when you can. You know, that was something you told me a long time ago too. Every wave's gonna crash, so when you got opportunity, you kind of try and go for things, with the humble mentality, tunnel vision, keep it going forward. Some things are gonna fall through the cracks, you know what I mean? Some of the communication is gonna be like, what am I doing? You're gonna find yourself on set like, the fuck is this?
I mean, to be fair, they did send out the mood board.
Probably all Chinese.
I mean, like, they got the little comic strip to go with it. I saw it. I was like,
John was a lead in this campaign, so I wasn't necessarily privy to all of the aforementioned stuff. But like I said, in my position, I was still being like, wait a minute, what is Kinjaz doing? You know what I'm saying? I still got to double check some shit sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was fun. And at the end of the day, we're all grateful for all those. You remember the photo shoot we did for the magazine with us and Mike Fowl?
Oh, Yoo-hoo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like that. Stuff like that is fire. You're like, oh shit, high fashion. Yeah. We get to throw on different looks. Like just kind of be ourselves. That was a fun shoot. Yeah. But then again, sometimes you also got to wear a crawfish outfit. You just got to get ready for that.
That's good, dude. That's freaking good.
Yeah. I mean, oh, man. It's not even to like reminisce, but like I'm having a very unique opportunity again. It was presented to me. I don't even know if I should be able to say this, but whatever. Forget, I'll say it. But yeah, like
let's go.
We break NDAs here all the time.
Well, nobody saw that. SDC reached out back to me again, and at the same time, they have another show that kind of like is like Produce 101. They get already like known actors, singers, rappers.
Oh, I heard about this actually.
Like that.
Yeah.
So that show reached out to me again to see if I want to be on their next season.
Dope.
So I don't even know if I should be saying this, but that's going to be in like a couple months. So thinking about, do I have enough time to really work hard and establish a good foundation here so that I can leave to, jumpstart this whole endeavor again. Of course, I got to get back into training, got to get back into like, the groove of like movement being the forefront of my life versus, the rhythm of being at a shop.
It's going to be like wax on, wax off Karate Kid. Everything you've done with like boba, you're going to like turn into your new style of dance and shit. Needing fresh, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds silly, but I've never worked 15-hour shifts this much in my life, so there's that.
Outside of dance.
But even in dance, like the movement gives you good oxygen in your body, like it rejuvenates you, it keeps you going. But in terms of standing on your feet, being a workhorse, and this is like, there is no bigger man you could stick it to. You are the big man, and then it's like, dude, you're doing this so that every business goes through this, every like startup business, they have to like put in this much work to get it above ground, so already knowing that going in, Malia and I, we buckled down and we put in the time, and then I think that builds up a whole new respect for, damn, John, your trenches go deep and you can dig. So honestly, like, it says there's no union force out there. I'm like, I feel like I've been working in China this whole time. But myself has been like, all right, bust those 2-3 shifts, don't complain, get the work done. And I was like, all right, cool. At least mentally I'm prepared to put myself through it.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, Mr. Miyagi, I'm going to try to translate that back into the dance world and that type of stuff. So, yeah, those opportunities are reaching out to me again, and I had that conversation with the wifey already, and I was like, are we ready to do this? I don't want to be gone for too long, and if I am, I want to bring them out.
Yeah,
that's never been done before, but these are all things that are like new considerations. Seeing some of the brothers already going through, some of these type of life experiences, when Bam has to be out for a long time, if he could bring his family, it makes things easier. When Ving goes off for a long time, how long is too long for him? You know, him being a new father as well. So really, just kind of like I learn a lot from watching my peers, and just understanding like, hey, it's not easy, never was. So I can't really expect that from myself. It made me very kind of afraid to even consider and say yes to any like jobs like this, which would be like, all right, yeah, this show could run for about 3 months, you know. Would you be willing to do it? I was like, there has to be like,
knowing China, that might be 4 or 5. Yeah.
Because I mean, momentum wise, if you start doing it, then it's not just that job; it's many things around it as well.
Yeah. You can't put energy into something and then not like receive something from it. You know what I mean? You get out there, you put yourself on TV again, you get notoriety in a certain thing. Suddenly another opportunity comes. You know what I mean? Oh, like he's relevant. Let's book him for this thing. Let's get him for this thing, and then it's gonna become your life, especially if you do well. You know, so
yeah. And we all know, man. If I'm going out there, I can't waste any time.
For sure.
You know? So, as always, I think about it outside of just myself, just my family. I'm like, I don't know what we can do, but I was reached out to, Eli and Coco again. I was like, there's anything that I can do, anything that this would, create for us. Like, I want to help, I feel like us being so, distant for the past few years, it just like, it made me feel very helpless, especially to people that have helped me so much, So I was like, if I can help, our family out in China, and then whatever, if we can, jumpstart anything for Kinjaz again, out there, then that's my game plan. I was like, I'll take any opportunity I can, and then we'll see where that goes. But that's a whole different like conversation and a different thing that I had to like, I guess, come to terms with after putting in so much time for Magic Milk to become what it is. And then
just Magic Milk China.
Malia, it's been like, China needs this. Everybody there is lactose intolerant, and there's no cookies. There's no cookies in China, guys. If we've been there, she's hunted for them because she just wanted them. Can't find a cookie anywhere in China, at least the ones that we make, right? Yeah. Things like that. They'll have like a brownie, but. Yeah, so she's like, if we made it out there, it's lactose intolerant. The only thing we have to figure out is how to make a gluten-free one. Like, and then you're set, But I was like, hey, if we bring this recipe, they have oat milk out there. We bring this recipe out there. We call it mo fa mumu. It's just like Chinese like version of Magic Milk. She's
you already have the name, bro.
Yeah, that was already.
Did you just say moo?
Yeah, you gotta make it cute.
Moo out there.
You gotta make it cute. Moo just means like a cow.
New nai. Yeah, new nai.
Yeah. So I mean, that's milk, but it doesn't sound cute.
Yeah, moo sound like cute.
Exactly. So,
oh, did you just say moo? Could have sworn that's not milk in Chinese.
Well, it's still a female dominant market, so you gotta make it cute. And she was like, new nai doesn't sound cute. What else sounds cute? Like moo, like a cow. It's like, that actually does sound cute. So
Magic moo.
Magic moo.
So yeah, she's already like spoken to me about it. And like I said, I was like, hey, when we do get the opportunity and we are out there, we'll see where we can plant flags. That's just where we set the bar. But yeah, dude, so much happened in 1 year. We had our kid. We started a business. We changed our lives. We started building our home, which should be done in like the next 2 weeks or so.
Amazing.
So
dope.
It was just, I think we set too many things on ourselves, but here we are.
Well, man, you've man, from the time that I've known you, man, you've always been somebody who is always moving, always producing, and what's cool to have seen in the past few years, especially, is you producing in different ways. I think the John that I knew was the dancer John, the clothing guy John, and then there's also now like sort of, and I know you probably won't like the term, but like the celebrity John to like the startup figuring out a new industry John to now Papa John, no pun intended. but you're, and then now also you're cycling back to the things that you kind of like started off with and stuff. And so
You forgot normal Ryu, John, but yeah.
Normal Ryu. We got to put that picture in here somewhere. But man, like you're no stranger to the hard work. And you don't shy away. You don't fear the new territories. Like you said, like having a kid wasn't planned, but it's like, yo, we've been wanting this, so now is the time we got to figure it out.
Yep.
And I feel that you are somebody who just knows how to make things work, and in a lot of ways that is how people can view a successful life, right? Just having these desires and then stepping into the unknown territories of figuring out how to best approach and attack these desires. And it's very humbling. We're often like, we're put in our place. We're like, I don't know the first thing to do with this thing, so I got to start from the very beginning. And so as I think for the both of us here, man, like we're just so proud, bro, just of your journey, and to call you a brother, to call you a friend. And but you're still on this path, right? And like now things are kind of circling back to a different, or back to maybe even where it once was, where you're like, okay, I got my business now running. I want to kind of get back into the dance realm. And so, man, you're living this life, man, and it looks successful. But success is defined by the beholder. Like how you define success.
Definitely.
How do you define that in terms of like how you're already living your life, and also kind of what you're still shooting for?
Oh man, success is the never attainable goal. Like once you've reached what you thought was success, a new branch like sprouts, and you're like, oh, I haven't made it yet. Oh, I haven't made it yet. I've never felt successful because I'm not set yet. I'm not able to kick back and have passive income and just like fuel me forever. I'm still very active and manual labored kind of I guess human right now. So for me, success, if I were to take it out of like a monetary state, is just happiness. Am I happy? And look back, reflect, like happy, healthy family, have a job, physically capable, have both my arms and both my legs and a beating heart. I'm good. I may have some hair loss, but it's all good. Things like that. But, I could pick apart a million things that are not going well, but then that would just like disrespect all the things that are going well. So I like to put my mind towards all the positives more so, and just be like, yeah, grateful, happy, capable, and then what's next is always like the next task. So yeah, that's success to me. It's like, are we happy? We're happy. All right. Is my lady happy? She's happy. All right. Is my little boy happy? He's kicking me in the face. He's happy. All right. So that's what it's been. So yeah, I'm happy. So I guess I'm successful in that.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what it is, man.
Yeah.
Well, we're gonna finish off with a fun little lightning round. So we're gonna just throw some questions at you, bro, and you just gotta come with it. Here we go. What is your favorite cookie flavor?
Ooh, blueberry with demerara sugar and lemon zest.
Wow. What were other names for Kame that were possible in the running?
If he was a girl, it would have been Kamehameha. Middle name is May, so Kamea, then May Ha. The next one, you guys are gonna laugh. Malia is like, if we get if it's a boy again for a second try, it's gonna be Kage. I was like, no way you thought of that. There's no way. It's like, that sounds like Kage Ha, right? Like, that is good. I was like, dang. It's gonna be like, who's Japanese? That's gonna come into my mind.
No, people are just gonna be like Cage.
They already call him Kame, So I was like, it's Kame, but hey, you're always gonna get that, especially if I tell people my Chinese name. They're like, they'll mispronounce the crap out of it. So, I think those are the two runner-ups. for his names.
Nice.
But we landed with Kame for the first. Yeah.
What is your favorite game?
My favorite game? Oh, Tetris.
Wow.
Tetris.
Mhm.
Okay.
It has novelty. It is the first game I ever fell in love with and grew a passion for games where I dreamt it. And then when I'm looking and staring into the vast world, I see blocks falling. That's when I knew.
I know that feeling. Yeah.
Right? It's like, is this addiction? I'm seeing blocks fall into place while I'm not playing it.
When we were heavy in Clash of Clans for a minute, I just could not sleep. I was dreaming about fucking Clash. You remember that shit? It was crazy. We
I
wake
still
up at like
play
6
Clash.
a.m. for fucking
For
raids and
Clan
stuff.
Wars?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's when you know that's addiction. And that's when I was like,
Yeah.
what is this? I was young when I first got into Tetris, and I was like, I want to play so bad right now. I feel like a crack addict. I didn't even know what crack was. I was
Nice.
like, oh, I gotta play, So that was Tetris is that for me for many reasons, and now I love games in general. So
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Which anime character do you most identify with and why?
oh no. I guess I never asked myself that. That's crazy. Vegeta maybe? Because he's like not main character vibes, but he's still badass and people love him.
You are Vegeta, dude.
Is he?
I have his
Vegeta's so
hairline.
angry.
Yeah.
But he also became like
He
good.
has Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got a
It's like-
family, man,
yeah.
too.
It's true.
And he's very soft towards his family.
Yeah.
John
You
Ha
know?
kind of remind me of Killer Bee.
Killer Bee.
Yo. Oh gosh, that's good. That's
In
good.
Naruto universe, maybe, yeah.
What is your most memorable Kinjaz performance?
Dang. Like live performance or just like
Whatever you
Whatever.
want, man.
whatever I want. Yo, honestly, what's something that stuck with me? Oh, dang, I'm not rapid firing this. I'm sorry. I would say when we got down to MGK.
Oh,
Ooh,
yeah.
that was the
for Ambush
intro.
Pack.
That was your intro
Yeah,
to
I
the
was-
Kinjaz universe.
Man, you don't know how happy
That
and
video was
appreciative
hard,
I
bro.
was when you guys chose MGK and then you like put me in the center for like just a split second. Like, I don't care for like that, but I was like, it's MGK. I love this track. I'm so down you guys are doing it. And then Am was like, you're right there. I was like,
Yeah, that one was hard, bro.
was
you
a
know,
good one.
and yeah, we bodied that. That was so dope.
Mhm.
But yeah, that for me like always stuck with me. I was like, this is my squad right here.
Yeah.
This is-
Mhm.
I'll fuck with y'all forever. Let's go. So yeah, ever since then, it's always been an upwards, trend with us.
Love
So,
it.
yeah, that one definitely set the bar for me.
Favorite of Malia's Halloween costumes?
I'm all sumo wrestling.
That was a good one.
Are you serious?
We could move on.
We can move on.
Yeah, we can skip
All right,
that one.
all right. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Ooh, tangled wires.
Tangled wire. As I'm looking around this
Bro,
room
no,
right
I can't.
now.
Thank you, Chad. Got the
That's
wire
what's up.
assembly,
All right,
all that stuff.
okay.
Yeah, like if you give me a bundle of tangled wires, but like, can you get this out? Like, nah, man, I don't want to touch that. Like, I would rather cut and then open things if it's too tangled. I was like, well, that
And
just get the purpose.
just get new wires.
You can just get new wires,
There you
man.
go. All right.
Yeah.
What is your superpower?
Communication. I feel like transparency and a clear line of communication is something that I have always perceived as common sense, but apparently it's not very common. And gets you out of every like situation. Because if you're honest with your inability or ability to handle anything, expectations are all gone.
There you go. That's good. Love that. Who is the most influential person in your life?
My family. It's kind of a unit thing, but definitely I take after a lot of my dad.
I see that.
Yeah, I take off a lot from my dad and my brother. My brother actually, he's always like, I don't give him enough credit. I followed him in damn near everything. He tried a new sport, I tried it. He tried a new, thing, I tried it. So yeah, he introduced me to dance too. I've always said that, but yeah, without him doing it first, I probably would never have touched it. I was definitely not a dancer when I was in high school. So yeah, it was him.
Cool.
When was the last time you cried?
He's like third grade.
I think you asked me this question before. Like, I only cry for death, which was like a dark thing that I've always known.
I've literally never seen you cry.
You didn't tear up when like Kame was born or anything like that?
No, I didn't. But I was filled with joy, man. So I mean, like I was like, I might cry. Shoot, I don't know. But when he came out, I was just overflowing with joy, and I was like, oh, how are you doing, Malia? Like all these things. But dang, the last time I cried, honestly, it was probably something sad. I shed a few tears, but I don't.
You don't remember that?
I don't cry often though. I think that might be not healthy, but I think
you should cry, bro.
Cry.
I was hoping that you would cry here. A lot of people cry on our podcast for some reason.
Really?
Just plug a nose hair real quick.
No, that'll make me tear up for sure.
If money was not an object, what would you be doing with your life?
Ooh. Oh man. Well, same as always. I'd be working less. I wouldn't be working at all, I don't think. I would be doing things out of pure joy, which fortunately was dance for the longest time. Didn't feel like work, but it was. Mm-hmm. And then spending time with family, because that's what you work for. Spend time, which is not monetary. It's priceless. Once you spend it, you don't get it back.
I'm surprised you didn't say anything about video games.
Well, I mean, I wanted to get Kame into video games as soon as he could press buttons. So
that is a unique fatherly trait.
Yeah. So
let's see how that turns out.
That family time is game time. Like, he's already sitting on my lap when I'm playing games, and he wants to play.
I've seen some videos, man. Yeah.
I was like, go for it. I'll let him fumble up and get me killed all the time. I don't care, as long as he finds an interest in holding a keyboard and mouse or remote control, whatever. I was like, yo, build that familiarity. And as soon as he's ready, Tetris.
Get him started with the basics.
Mm-hmm.
What is your favorite quality about yourself?
Favorite quality? Sheesh. Well, I mean, I mentioned it. It's like my superpower. It's my communication. It's something that I don't want to take for granted. It is my shining light. It has gotten me to where I need to get to and out of where I want to get out of. Communication has always been my strong suit, and I was always passing that on to people. I was like, it's not hard. It's literally the easiest thing you can do. You just got to be open to the thought of it. And then once you open that bridge with another person, oh man, if it's in relationships, family or friends, communication is the one binding bridge that, man, you could build and empower out of that, with that one skill set alone. Even if you're like me, I'm a completely methodical, what does Malia call me? She's like, I'm too logical. I'm super logical, and many people are
You're
more
a boy.
balanced.
Got it.
Sure, yeah, exactly. And many people are balanced. Some people lean towards the emotional, which she's often emotional based. But because of my ability to communicate very thoroughly and transparently, we understand each other. So we understand when I'm thinking too much, and she'll convey that to me. I pull back because at the end of the day, I was like, all right, well, what do I want out of this? In the long run, is to understand, yada yada yada, and then we bring ourselves back. Humble yourself. Understand that was communicated already. Don't do it again. Man, I mean, things always so easy. So I will always encourage people to don't glaze over that. Communicate. Yeah.
You got a favorite non-dance Kinjaz moment?
Dude, yeah, so many, man. For me, which one do I want to pick? A few of them happened at our crusades. For me, one of my favorites is just something I hold true. We only do it. Oh, actually, I can't say it. I don't want to say things that are very intimate to us. Oh man,
I'm like, what is it, dude? What can you say?
No, I mean, it's you could edit it out. It's like when I did the Kinjaz roar, we did the chant for the first time. I've never felt that ever in my life, and that type of empowerment that I felt with everybody just feeding the energy. Oh man, and we didn't do the Kinjaz roar for me. This was for, I think it was Lee J. And then I was like, whoa, this feeling is just my whole body. I'm getting chills.
I'm
now.
getting chills
Yeah,
right now because I
Yeah.
remember all those times.
Yeah, every
no
time
more
you do
details,
that.
but yes,
That
Yes,
is-
yes.
yeah, I remember that feeling.
That is magical.
It's
That
a
is
magical feeling, man,
Cool.
and it's very empowering. So
Love that. Love that. What do you want to do more of for yourself? And if there is anything that you want to do less of, what would those two things be?
For myself, man, no, I guess not, huh? I don't know. I don't really think about doing things for myself. Everything goes like, be there for my family more.
Mm-hmm.
I want to find a way to buy more time. Whatever that means. I need more time.
So less 15-hour work shifts.
That's 15-hour work shifts, yeah, and then exactly,
Yeah.
That's the goal. Is always just I want more time for myself so I can spend it back with my family and friends.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, watching you guys all the time is just FOMO to the max. Always, I'm just like, but I'm happy at the same time. It's like I'm so happy to see everyone still chasing dreams, and still doing the thing. But I would love to have more time to do that with everybody as well. So whatever that is.
Don't. Anything less of? You would want to do less of something?
Yeah, freaking 15-hour shifts, man.
Makes sense.
Yeah. I would love, because honestly, when I look at that, I don't look at it in a negative light anymore. When we have so many young, youthful people busting like actual work shifts, it gives them a lot of experience, life experience that they never had before. I had an employee tell me, because he's now washing dishes like crazy, right? We have a bunch of big pots and everything. He's like, I appreciate my mom so much more, man. He's like, I never wash dishes in the house. She
Magic
always
mom.
does. Magic mom. And I was like, yo, I've never seen that perspective before.
Yeah.
But I'm glad we provide that for you. And so like, it's just something he reflects back home now.
Yeah.
He does dishes at home now. He cleans, things, understands the importance of like organizing things and yada yada systems. He's like, dang, my mom always washed dishes. I never really thought about it. Just place dishes down and leave, as a kid,
Right.
So I was like, holy, yeah, I'd love to give you guys more of these life experiences, So things like that.
Good.
Yeah.
It's good. If you could go back in time and give a piece of advice to, let's say, the 12-year-old version of John, what advice would you give your 12-year-old self?
Damn, I'm a stickler for not regretting things. I probably just be like, hey, keep it up, man. Because I needed to go through all the things, like even the dark things that I went through to be who I am today. Because I have a lot of self-love and self-respect. I feel like I'm pretty good at looking in the mirror and be like, you've made some bad decisions, but you've made better decisions off of them. I learned that at a young age, I was very impulsive, very I have jealous tendencies that I needed to learn how to control and subdue and manage. And then I had anger issues, that I needed to get off my chest and understand like, hey, that affects more people than just the one you're directing it towards. So without all the things that I went through, I would not be who I am today. And it would be kind of weird for me to change any of that to butterfly effect me into, I don't even know who I would be today. I probably wouldn't even be sitting here, So, I'd probably just like put a mustache on and be like, yo, keep it up. If I had to do anything,
Yeah. Well, in this season, we've gotten your golden rule from season 1. So if anybody's curious as to what Jawn Ha's golden rule is, go back to that episode. But in this season, we entertain this concept of mastery. And Bruce Lee has this famous quote. He says, I fear not the man that has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. What is something that you feel that you've mastered in your life?
Oh man, no way. It's not even a physical thing. It's all mental. I practice patience a lot. So I feel like I have a pretty good hold on that, but as well as like my ability to communicate. Like that, I've said it 3 times now, but that is something that I felt like I've mastered. And that's not to say that I'm a master of communication, but I will tell you that I'm not a master of communication, which is an ode to being able to communicate,
Sure.
you know? So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I still have a lot of room to grow and I'm willing to. And one thing that I've always said since I was young, I don't think I read this anywhere, was once you've done your best, do better. That's something that I continue to like say to myself, say it in the mirror. It's like, yeah, once you reach that height, there's more to go. So keep going, you know. It's the same thing, honestly, as people say, like, you know, you can chase perfection, you can never attain it. You know, I've heard that a million times, but I think I adhere to mine because I've said it to myself and I didn't have anybody else say it to me. But I was like, yeah, that's something that I put on my Tumblr page, like when I was 12, I think.
Got it. That's good, man. Well, John, it's just great catching up with you, man. And you know, Anthony and I always say, like, it's funny how sometimes it just takes like a podcast to do a proper catch up with people and a proper like get to the real stuff, you know, rather than, you know, just kind of like what's been going on surface level.
Yeah.
But, you know, as a brother, and as a friend, and as like seeing you grow, when did you get down with the crew? Was it 26, 15?
15, I think.
Okay.
The end of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
so
guys just got off at ABDC.
Word, yeah.
I think I was in the audience. I was already
That's
repping.
right, you were.
I was repping, I was at rehearsals. So around that time.
That was right around. So like, it's been a good amount of time, man, and I've seen you grow in so many ways, and it's been really fun to watch your evolution as an artist and as a man, and seeing how you make your decisions in life and still maintain a consistency. I feel like you're a very consistent person.
It's a good word. I was just thinking about that word.
Yeah.
John is consistent.
You are very consistently you, and I expect nothing less than that. And that's something that's very, it's very comforting because it's very reliable. Like, I already know what I'm gonna get when I talk to John. And maybe different details and maybe different circumstances, but the John that I'm gonna get is always gonna be the same. And you're a great friend. You're a great father. You're a great brother. You are an inspiration, and you are about to embark on another chapter, I feel, that like you just talked about today. And dude, you got nothing but the support from the squad. And yeah, man, it's really cool to watch you. It's just really cool to watch you. And thank you for doing what you do, man. Thank you for coming and just hanging out and giving us the life updates. And yeah, man, it's real good.
Yeah, it's always freaking just like life is just fun running alongside you. Whether we're like running on the same track or we're running on two different tracks at the same time, I know that we're both running.
Yeah.
And it's always fun to look over and be like, that fool's still running too. You know, and it makes it like easy for us to keep it going. So
yeah.
Consistent Jawn Ha, man. Consistent Ha.
Consistent Ha.
Well, hey, thank you guys for providing a platform always. You know, in every avenue. This is another one that's not even related to dance, you know, but it allows the listener and also the speaker to just bestow any experience, you know, or just entertainment value.
Yeah.
And
hey, we're all working on our communication, you know?
Hey, you know?
And I appreciate that. It's got to keep working on it.
Heck yeah. Love it.
Well, what can people be on the lookout for? Like, what do you want people to stay in touch with?
Dang. Yo, come through. Magic Milk. Get some cookies from Magic Cookies. We ship nationwide.
Oh.
You know, that's something that a lot of people don't know about. It was just something that we've been working on for the past like half a year. So that's all I've got to say. Otherwise, just follow me and then see what else we get ourselves into.
Yeah, we'll plug all the socials, Magic Milk, Magic Cookies. We'll plug all that, and
the link to the Chung Lee outfit, we got that in there.
Only if you want, John.
Hashtag wear that tonight.
We've already put that out there. It's already it's public knowledge. But yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in to another episode, for watching or listening. If you guys are finding this episode for the first time, we have many, many episodes before this with amazing guests just like John. Make sure you follow us on socials, KINJAZ Podcast, cast with a K. If you're really digging what we're doing, please leave us a 5-star rating, write us a review, let us know what you like, what you don't like, even guests that you would want us to bring on. That all helps us grow. Screenshot your phone, let us know you're listening. We love to regram all that stuff. And we just appreciate you guys' time for stopping in, listening, watching, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Kid your bang, y'all.
Boom, kid your bang.